When you hear the opening notes of Eric Clapton's Tears in Heaven, it's almost impossible not to pause. The melody is soft, delicate, and aching, yet it carries a weight that reaches straight into the soul, as though every note is whispering a story of loss that words alone could never capture. While this song was famously born out of Clapton's own unimaginable grief after the loss of his young son, its power goes far beyond one man's tragedy. Because at its heart, Tears in Heaven is about love, loss, and the universal question we all wrestle with when someone we cherish is no longer here. Will we see them again? The lyrics are simple, but in their simplicity lies their strength. When Clapton sings, "Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven?" It's a question so many have asked in the silence of their own pain, a question that doesn't demand an answer, but instead holds space for the longing we feel, the ache that sits between grief and hope. Another haunting line, "Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven?" captures the way loss makes us wonder if the bond of love endures beyond this life, if the person we miss still knows us, still remembers us, still waits for us in a place beyond our understanding. These are not just Clapton's questions, they are ours, and that is why the song feels as though it belongs to everyone who has ever wept for someone gone too soon. The song doesn't shout, it whispers, almost like a prayer, which is why it resonates so deeply with those who hear it. What makes it universal is that it never tells you exactly what to believe. Instead, it acknowledges the ache of absence and the fragile hope of reunion. Some hear it as a hymn of faith, holding on to the promise of heaven where love is restored and tears are wiped away. Others hear it as a lament, a recognition of how broken this world can feel when someone we love is gone, with heaven feeling less like a promise and more like a distant dream. And still others hear it as a quiet reminder that love never truly disappears. It lingers in memories, in echoes, in the way we continue to carry those who have left us in our hearts and in our stories. The gentle guitar and restrained arrangement mirror this perfectly. It isn't flashy or dramatic, because grief isn't either. It's quiet, it's heavy, it sits in the stillness of late nights and unspoken thoughts. It walks with us when we feel most alone, and it softens only with time and reflection. That's why this song has remained timeless. Decades after its release, it continues to be played at memorials, funerals, candlelight vigils, and moments when words simply aren't enough. Because music has a way of saying what our hearts struggle to put into sentences. And Tears in Heaven is one of those rare songs that becomes a vessel for both sorrow and healing. It asks us to consider not just the pain of loss, but also the love that makes that pain so real in the first place. Without love, there is no grief. Without deep connection, there is no longing for reunion. And in that sense, the song isn't just about loss, it's about the beauty of having loved so deeply that absence feels unbearable. About the reminder that love itself is worth the risk of heartbreak. Think about the lyric. Time can bring you down. Time can bend your knees. Time can break your heart. Have you begging, please? It's not only about Clapton's pain, it's about the human condition itself, about how time can humble us, remind us of our frailty, and yet still move us forward into healing, even when we can't imagine it at first. And yet the song doesn't end in despair. It carries a trace of hope, a sense that love will one day bring restoration, even if we don't fully understand when or how. That's the paradox of grief. It is both unbearable and survivable, both crushing and strangely transformative, because it teaches us to treasure the fragility of life. What about you? When you hear Tears in Heaven, do you hear despair, hope, or a little of both? Does it bring back memories of someone you've lost, a face you still long to see, a voice you wish you could hear one more time? Or does it make you reflect on the fragile, precious nature of life itself, reminding you to hold tighter to the people you love while you still can? That's the gift of this song. It doesn't just belong to Eric Clapton, it belongs to all of us. Anyone who has ever had to say goodbye too soon, anyone who has sat in the silence of grief and wondered if love really does stretch across eternity. And maybe that's why it continues to resonate across generations, because loss is universal, but so is the hope that love endures, the hope that there will be no more tears when we meet again. Even when words fail, the song remains, reminding us that while life is fragile, the bond of love reaches beyond what we can see. And in that way, Tears in Heaven becomes not just a song of mourning, but a song of eternal love.